One thing I will advise guys is you need to have this. If you are in a situation where you're posting her and she's not posting you, it is bad. It's bad juju, right? You
A
definitely want,
100%.
yeah. Question I wanted to ask you about is something that's happened recently. So as you become an influencer, I've had a couple of guys, pretty much every female that I've had on my show that's over, 300,000 followers, a million, whatever, dating life becomes public. It just has to. My dating life is public. When you date an influencer, a lot of times you can talk about this specifically in your situation or just avoid it and just talk about like in general. One of the difficulties that happens when you're a public figure, your relationship is public. And then when it ends, it's public too. And how do you deal with that?
Yeah. So if you follow me, or just looked at my page from a while back, I was in a public relationship, right? So I started dating an influencer 4 years ago. And at the time, we weren't really sure if we were going to make it public or not, but you can't really hold that stuff back. It's just like my life is just public, right? So at some point they're going to show up on an Instagram post or story or someone else's story or whatever. So we weren't really trying to hide it. We knew that it was going to become a public relationship. We did a hard post, our first hard post a few months into the relationship, and told people that we were together. And over the course of after 3.5 years, we decided to go our separate ways. And it was the first time that I had to post about a breakup, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, what do I do? One of those like corny ass videos where I'm just like, hey guys,
Yeah.
today just want to say that we broke up, we're going separate ways. I don't want to do that. So I thought, honestly, I love my audience, but I don't feel like I owe it to them to tell them in detail what's going on in my relationship. At the time, I just didn't think that was right. I talked to my ex, Robbie, and then it was a very friendly chat. And I said, I think this is what we should post. What do you think? She's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's post a story frame. We literally just posted one story frame. And it was just saying, hey, we went our separate ways. There's no drama. There's no tea. I wish them the best. And that's kind of it. I've, over the years, have built a little bit of a wall around my personal life on purpose, just because I do think that if you let them into your personal life too much, then they kind of start giving you personal advice on your life, or my next girlfriend, let's say, they're like, well, I like Robbie better, or I like this other girl better. I don't want that. My page is about, it's educational. I'm providing value about fashion, grooming, lifestyle, and elevating yourself. It's not really about my personal page, my personal life. Back in the day, my YouTube page was vlogs about my life, and I would show them every single minute of my life. And it was too much. So I closed that up, and I don't want to do that ever again.
I actually think the way you did it was perfect. I actually looked at both of yours and I was like, man, that's definitely the way to go. Do you think that the way you handled it was the correct way to handle it? Would you advise other people?
It was the best way to do it. It's the best way to do it. It's like, this relationship is public, and we acknowledge that. And so we want to give you this information and let you know that this happened, let you know that there was nothing wrong. There's, no cheating, none of that, no tea. And it's just, we're going our separate ways. Having said that, it's easy for me to say when we decide that we're going our separate ways, that we're going to post an amicable post on story. If there was something that went horribly wrong, then who knows what the reaction would have been from either of us at that time, and who knows what we would have said publicly. But because it was an amicable breakup, it was a little bit easier to do it that way.
For sure. Yeah. Do you have any advice for men? Because a lot of guys, especially in my program, we do a lot of huge social circle events and throw these big charity events or whatever. And a lot of the guys in my program start dating influencers. It's really common, actually. Do you have any advice for a guy who's dating an influencer? Maybe he's not an influencer. Maybe he's just an attorney or something like that. Do you have any advice?
Yeah, creating boundaries. That's the biggest one, is defining those boundaries early on. I think, something that I probably could have done better. We could have done better in our relationship, is setting those boundaries when it comes to being influencers together. I think it's even worse when both of them are influencers, because it just becomes your entire life. All you do is talk about the algorithm. All you do is, you're on vacation. So what you're doing is you're shooting for each other. Right? Oh, we don't need to hire a photographer on vacation because that feels like work. But then you get there and it looks beautiful. So what do? I shoot her, she shoots me, and now you're spending your time working instead of actually enjoying it. So if you're a guy who's not an influencer and you're dating an influencer, and she's like, can you just shoot me on vacation, shoot all my photos, blah, blah, blah. Not really. No, get a photographer. get a
Yeah.
photographer. They can help you with that. And that's the best way to do it. Create those boundaries so that because it can take over your life. Being an influencer is more than a full-time job. Like it's who you are, and you're showing that on social media. There's no sunset that you don't want to take out your phone from your pocket and record it and show it to everyone because it's a beautiful sunset, right? So anything that I would see that's cool, any places that I would go that I'm like, oh, this place would be great for a shot right there, I'd start thinking about work. And I had to really stop that because it just took over my life. And that's when I stopped talking about personal life and really just became, okay, I'm going to shoot in my studio. When I'm on vacation, I'm on vacation, and that's that. And if you're dating an influencer, that can easily seep into your life and really mess up your relationship.
One thing I will advise guys is that you need to have this. If you are in a situation where you're posting her and she's not posting you, it is bad. It's bad juju, right? You definitely want
100%.
Yeah.
If she's not posting you, like there's something wrong there. And I get that a lot of girls have their brands, and it's like their brand is basically just like they're hot and they have 99% audience is male, and they're the ones leaving those heart emojis. But it doesn't matter, man. Like at the end of the day, like if you want a true relationship, then she needs to be posting you as well.
There's a couple things, and hopefully I don't come off as offensive to some of you when I say this. When you break up, she has far more of an ability to hurt you socially and in your dating life and your business than you have the ability to hurt her. I'm just sorry. Like if a woman gets cheated on, there's a line formed to the left. And in fact, if I hear that a girl gets cheated on and I'm like, wow, you stayed with a dude who cheated on you, that actually sounds like a good girl to me. When I hear about a dude who gets cheated on over and over again, that's when you get into the I put your bitch in some Gucci flip-flops type stuff. Like men have the ability to be hurt more. That's why I'm saying there has to be, if she's not posting photos of the two of you together, if there's not some investment, it's not equitable. Like there's a probability of her hurting your brand more than you hurting hers. It's just the truth. It's just the way men and women are. And it's just the way our audiences work. When women get cheated on, like I have female friends who get cheated on and their audience loves the shit out of them. They are just adoring with adulation. When dudes get cheated on, it's like, yeah, bro, what happened? What'd you do wrong? You know what I'm saying?
100%, 100%. And the other day I was, in my Explore page, I'm like, oh, this girl's pretty hot. I clicked on her and she had no photos of like her boyfriend anywhere besides where it matters, which she pinned one photo of her and her boyfriend, fiance, whatever. And I was like, you know what? I appreciate that so much. Like that's so cool that and it's such like a normal thing, but a lot of girls just don't do that. It's just photos of them in bikinis, whatever. And then somehow they have a boyfriend. I'm like, how do you what do you mean you have a boyfriend? That's insane. So just one little photo pinned to the top. I'm like, I appreciate that. That's what's up.
Like this, guys, this doesn't help her brand at all. You guys understand that? Like this doesn't help her brand, but she's willing to do it, which shows a sacrifice in the relationship, which is why I think it's just so important to do that.
And it's also cool that you acknowledge that like this isn't doing her any good for her business on social media, but this is her life. I am her guy, her man. And she's doing it because she's sacrificing for this relationship. And it's cool that you acknowledge that too.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, so cool. That's really important that, talk about that. Cause I feel like that's something guys need to understand. Cause I know it's a situation where guys say, hey, Michael, I want to date a 9 or a 10, and they're going to get more attention. And a lot of times they're going to have social media profiles that are really big, and you have to learn how to deal with some of the situations that are happening, like a lot of attention from men, the fact that the business is going to take over. No, honey, when the food comes at dinner, honey, the gram eats first. The gram, you know what I'm saying? Got to take a picture of the butter cake. The gram eats first. That kind of stuff, that's what happens. And so it's something that guys have to get used to. I want to ask you a question. So you've actually had a lot of really cool videos on dating advice. One of them that you talked about was eye contact. And I thought that was really interesting about like not losing eye contact.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just so powerful, right? And that goes for not just dating, but just in general. I've definitely interacted with some guys who are just like, don't look into your eyes. And I'm not saying like stare into my soul for 20 minutes. I'm just saying like maintain some type of eye contact. Hi.
Kylie wanted to say hi. She actually had a question for you later. I'll have her come in here.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I think eye contact is so important. It's one of the things that show people that you care, that you're paying attention. One of those things that it's almost way more respectful that way. If people aren't looking at you, looking into your eyes, like what are they thinking about? What are they doing? And when it comes to dating, it shows that maybe you're not confident enough to be dating this girl if you can't
When
even look at
men
her
look
in the eyes.
away, when an
Yeah,
attractive
if you
woman
look,
looks at it, then the men look away. That's
for
what I
sure,
wanted
if
to
you
get
look
to. Yeah.
away, it's like, why are you scared? Are you just not confident? What's going on here? So maintaining contact is extremely, extremely important when it comes to dating. I would say that if you're talking to a girl, make sure that you're looking at her into her eyes, and then you can look away once in a while to not look like you're just staring at her. Whatever you do, just don't look down, and then just look to the sides, and you'll be good.